ReWild, the process of remembering our connection with Earth, deconstructing our enculturation, and surrendering to natural rhythms and ways. Intuition reigns. Hey, Gaea here. I'm in the woods at the Shawnee National Forest. We are on the Pine Ridge, right by Pounds Hollow, which is a beautiful, low escarpment where there are beautiful, like a beautiful little beach and a beautiful, huge natural lake. And then this connects to all of these incredible, huge rocks underneath this. Very, very, very old mountains, back from when everything was one continent, Pangea, and Africa slammed up against North America, right by the Carolinas, boom, and then created these mountains. And then over time, as they crumbled and as the continents shifted and tilted, the seas went out towards the west in the Great Plains, taking all the sediment with it and slowly allowing these mountains, these huge rocks, to crumble into forested canyons. And so here we are up on a high rock outcropping that is rewilded so much, so it is actually dirt and humus and soil. There are mushrooms and fungi everywhere, and the trees are incredible. So this place brings me into wilderness and this concept of rewilding. So how do we rewild? We have been so enculturated to be clean and well-mannered and, I don't know, enculturated to be in culture. And so here we come into the woods, into the wilderness, with our concepts, of course, of hygiene, but allowing ourselves to become a little more like nature, to get dirty, to put our feet in the grass, to learn what plants look like and begin to identify them and the trees and the rocks and the fungi, and understand that in fact we are all one. We are all one. Everything is the same. And this is the process of rewilding. When we surrender to these natural rhythms that exist within our own body, we understand. So get outside, rewild. So, rewild. Let's get in tune with our essential wildness, shall we? So, I encourage you to do this practice wherever you are and to remember it so that way when you are in a wild place, in nature, in anyone's backyard or somewhere, you can do these, okay? This is to get you in tune with the natural rhythms that are you and are around you. So, first, take off your shoes. I love these toe shoes because they're thin soles and the open toes allow me to feel my feet and imagine that I'm barefoot, but with protection. So I can hike and scramble around rocks and in rivers and be totally barefoot. It's pretty cool. So, I want you to expand your idea of what is prim and proper and allowed. And I want you to cast off any judgments you have about getting your feet dirty, or the bugs that might be in the ground, or the sticks or the rocks or the twigs. Believe me, the more that you do this, the more that it just becomes part of you. You understand that you are part of it. This understanding that we are all one is understanding our likeness that is not any different from the twigs, the fungi, the bees, the plants, the sun, the stars, the rocks, and every other person out there, regardless of appearance or actions or beliefs. So, take a deep breath in. All the way up. Inhale more and more and more and more, and raise your arms up. And then exhale out and ground it down through your feet. And imagine your feet sprouting roots, multiple, tiny, millions of roots, just like the fungal networks that exist between our feet in soil. Imagine that this grounds you down. Take another deep breath in from the bottom of the pelvic floor. Bend those knees nice and juicy. Imagine that that fungal network connects you essentially to this soil. Take your eyes and look down at the ground beneath your feet. Notice the individual plants, twigs, bees, ants, pine needles, plants. And just let yourself sink into those roots. And take your hands to your torso, anywhere you want. And find the beating of your own heart. Notice how maybe it quickens when you inhale or exhale. Maybe take your hand to the vein in your leg and notice if you can feel that heartbeat through your corporeal being. Imagining the veins in your body stemming from your very heart, the same as those veins that come out of your feet into the soil. And see if you can't expand into bliss for a moment. Take your arms out. Get wide. Now, your alveoli and your lung structure is that of webbing. It is tiny, tiny, tiny little sacs that have air in them, very much like mushrooms or cells, cell walls, and other creatures who all have lungs. So take a deep breath in, respirate in, and then exhale out. Inhale. Imagine yourself as everything else. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale. Shake your hands out. Flop them around. And imagine even when you pull your feet up, you still have this intrinsic connection to ground. Let yourself feel this ground. Allow yourself to feel the sensations of feet on floor. If your feet are so tight and it hurts to walk barefoot, then you need to walk barefoot more. You need to open up the muscles in your feet because they respond to the rest of your body. So start to get wild, start to get big, make some big wild gestures with your arms to start warming yourself up. And imagine those roots maybe coming out of your feet and coming out of your hands and your veins mirroring all of that. Make some big wild motions and start to add crazy facial expressions into it. Can you open up your mouth, cross your eyes, wiggle your nose, puff your cheeks up, and feel as fierce and wild and raw, making strange postures, maybe shaking. And let go of the propriety of making perfect straight lines or of feeling traditionally sexy. And let this ability to rewild yourself make you feel sensually alive, big, and wild, extending out from your fingertips and at the same time zooming back into this essential core. Come back into the center, and I want you to fold yourself in like a little seed. Curl down. Maybe tuck your nose in between your knees. Come up on your toes or put your ankles down. Come in. And now really slowly, imagine yourself as a seed, as the beginning of all life, as part of this cycle of transformation of death, as this wild ability to grow. So, start to unfurl, maybe shoot those roots down first, and then let your spine be that first shoot that emerges up and out. Can you imagine your head growing taller? And maybe unfurling little leaves up and out to catch the sun, to start the process of photosynthesis, to begin metabolizing, to create more cells. And so I want you to imagine yourself slowly lengthening, filling, and growing until you can feel so full of yourself. Lengthen, grow, replicate cells, press your feet down. And now, like a tree, we balance. Wild things are always in balance. Ecosystems strive for balance. When they are out of balance, they find way to come back. So, play with your balance here. Tuck your toe up and pull your knee up. You can go into a yogic tree and press your foot either against your thigh or your calf for more added balance, or you can pull it off and squeeze that booty, draw all your energy down and up and find this balance. And see if, just like the trees, you can be supple. Trees are meant to blow in the wind so they do not break over and fall or become uprooted in a slight breeze. So allow for yourself to play and maybe fall over. Try the other leg. Maybe try cross and feel this wildness about you. Maybe bring those faces back in. Open your eyes wider than you think maybe you should. This wild look in your eyes. Feel your ability to play. Play is a pathway to joy. And the wild is about the joy of these natural rhythms. Wet to dry, high to low, fall to winter to spring to summer, death to rebirth, seed to adult to death. Lunar cycles, solar cycles, weather patterns. Imagine yourself balancing and finding this natural balance through it all, through play, rather than strict, strong attention and intellectual focus. It takes that too, but allow for yourself to find this essential wildness. Now, take a big breath, and I want you to make a very loud noise. Inhale. Exhale. Woo! One more. Inhale. Let go of your inhibitions. Just make any loud noise. Why not? Inhale. Exhale. Woo! And notice how the voice carries your natural response to making a loud noise. Are you silent often? Or are you always talking at a high volume? Now we come back as we started. Bring your feet, those bare feet of yours, back to the earth. It's raining from the tree leaves right now. It was raining all morning. And I want you to sink your feet back into this ground and just know that you're no different. And realize that you matter so much as part of the whole. And that one day you, like everything wild, will die. But the more that you can find freedom, wildness and freedom, and not chaining yourself to these cultural norms and mores of buying the next new best thing, or working yourself to death, or getting upset at rashes and bumps and bruises and bites and stings, getting in tune with your own bodily fluids, your moon blood, your saliva, your sweat, your tears, and recognizing that you are part of all of this. And that is what makes us live. It makes us live. So shoot those fungal roots down, shoot them out of your fingers, make a huge, wide, expansive gesture, imagining that you are the edge of a cliff, that you are the soaring hawk. Now bring it in. Let these hands comfort you to knowing that as a part of everything, everything you do matters and does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Rest assured that everything you do is part of it. So my loves, rewild yourself. Get outside. Live off the grid with no power. Turn off your internet and phone. Allow yourself not to respond. Respond only to your wild winds. And get out in this precious wilderness we have on this earth, which is disappearing every day. Let's not let it. Ecological justice is social justice. It's important for us to have these wild places, to bring ourselves back into fullness. Thank you for rewilding yourself every little bit. From my heart to yours, I'm Gaea, and this is Rewilding.